so here we are with our episode 2, our special episode
Part 2.
Part 2, right. So we actually just had a quick episode with Eric Doring, which I think went very well. Heard some of his experiences, past and present and future. Obviously, Neil is not with us again, only in spirit. He's with us every night with the picture.
Every night.
But we do have 2 new guests. We have the 2 hunters with us, Hunter and Hunter.
Indeed.
Hello. So, how we doing?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah?
Pretty good myself.
All right, good. Well, thanks for joining us. You made the long road trip from Alabama for the Metallica weekend, basically, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And actually, Hunter won, I'll refer to since you're closest to me. And I've got to know you a little bit over the last few years, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, your mom and Eric are married now, and we are family.
Yep.
Right? So it's good to have you here. Hunter, we may have crossed paths in Alabama. We've confirmed, but probably not, maybe. Who knows?
I'm not sure. I showed up late.
But either way, so it's awesome you guys are here. You made the road trip. Oh, and by the way, my buzz today is brought to you by Bell's Beer.
What's up, Bells?
Keeping it local, and also the Labatt Blue. Shout out to Eric for bringing that.
Yes. Canadian. What up, Canada?
He always grabs that because it's tough to find Labatt, where you guys are from. So the road trip. Tell me about it. How was that?
10 hours.
Yeah.
It was 10 hours.
Yeah. It's not a bad drive.
It's a terrible drive.
We were in the back seat, so it was pretty. Yeah, it was pretty bad. It wasn't bad, but.
But the reason you're driving is super cool. You see Metallica, so you saw them last night at Ford Field.
It was pretty awesome.
Pretty awesome?
Yeah. Mostly Pantera, Metallica,
Yeah.
Mammoth was.
Yeah, I don't know much about Mammoth. Sometimes that show with Matt Pinfield, Power Hour.
Oh, yeah, that's
They're always loving Mammoth VH or whatever, which is Eddie Van Halen's kid. But Pantera is sweet.
Yeah.
One of our guests, episode 7, John Shack, he went to the Incarceration Festival, and it's in Mansfield, Ohio. But you know the movie Shawshank Redemption?
Yeah.
The prison is where they hold the festival. So
cool.
it's like right on the grounds of that prison, and Pantera is one of the big acts there. And he said it's something to see. I've never seen Pantera. It was never actually my gig, but to each their own. So Pantera was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about what song? Any sort of killer tune out of those guys?
This Love was probably my favorite.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
I'd say either I'm Broken or Cemetery Gates.
Yeah. What is it about those?
What is it about those?
Yeah. It kind of leads into the question about the live music. What is it about the whole experience, those songs?
It's the atmosphere of the song. Like, the lights change, like, different colors, like, to whatever song's on, And the crowd really changes, too.
Yeah, you asked last time, you didn't ask me that question, so for you, when a live show.
That's not the question I wanted to answer, but I will answer it anyway.
Maybe you can segue into the question you did like to answer.
Okay, well, for that question. It's pretty much the same thing. Like, once that, one song comes on, that crowd is gonna change. Like, when I saw Death Grips, it was the same set both times, so I saw them within, 2 months of each other. But the last song is always Hacker, and, once that song comes on, literally everybody is going crazy. Even if you're, in the depths of the mosh and, you're literally getting beaten up and you feel like you're dying, you're still gonna turn up for Hacker because it's just, too fire. You have to. Yeah. But, it just, changes. When it's that one song, everybody's...
You actually came out of the first Death Grip show with bruises from the pit.
I was broken after that show. I seriously got beat up.
So, for Metallica, you're a huge fan, always have been, right? So, you play guitar, right? Is that where kind of lean towards kind of the heavier stuff, or...?
Yeah, well, I kind of started with, Nirvana,
and
then Alice in Chains, and I moved to, Metallica,
Gotcha.
and Pantera.
I love Alice in Chains.
Yeah, me too.
That was all. That was my heyday. I mean, I hate to sound like an old man here, but I mean, literally from early 90s. I mean, I went to college in 93, so it had just blown up like late high school. So all the colleges, like I went through that. And I mentioned this at the end of season 1, like the music changed at that point. It kind of went almost the new metal way.
Yeah.
You know, like Rage and then Linkin Park and a lot of those guys, Limp
New
Bizkit.
metal,
You know, and then but then also the way we consume music, it started becoming digital, so you could experience everything else, you know.
Right.
You know, and so that's kind of what I've done. You know, you mentioned bands, I'm gonna throw some on there, and I might only hear them once every 2 weeks because I have like 1,300 songs. I just do it on random, but I'll be like, oh yeah, this is that song that those guys told me about. So that's always what it is for me, is experiencing the new music and doing stuff like this and getting the younger viewpoint. For me, you guys are more aligned in the same age and probably speak the same talk more than me. But what are some of the other bands that you guys are kind of into at this point?
Like, can you give like a top 3 maybe?
A top 3, like of my favorite.
Yeah.
Probably Metallica would be number 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alice in Chains would Pantera would be second, and Alice in Chains would be third, probably.
Okay.
Top 3.
That's a solid list.
Yeah.
That's a solid list. What about you, Hunter, too?
Mine, I'd have to agree with Metallica at 1. I got Disturbed at 2.
Okay.
And I'll probably end it off with Dragon Force.
Okay. I'm not familiar with Dragon Force at all. I do know Disturbed. Those are solid lists, though. That's awesome you guys are in Alice in Chains, because those dudes have been around for like 40 years, right? I mean, Eric was, you were probably listening to Metallica before me, Eric, but, I mean, even way younger than you guys, even. Just crazy to think about, and they were still out there rocking, right? But Alice in Chains, like I said, I saw them that one time at Lollapalooza with Lane Staley, which was amazing. And a huge storm came in, Dinosaur Jr. was playing, and then they rushed them off, but everything cleared, and all of a sudden Alice in Chains came out and just killed it. And to be honest, I even forgot that Primus was the headliner, because that was like, the one thing that I totally remember. But I did see Alice in Chains with William Duvall or whatever, the new singer.
Yeah, the newer.
And they opened up for Guns N' Roses when I saw them at Ford Field. And me and my brother were just kind of tooling around Ford Field, while Alice in Chains was playing. I mean, they sounded awesome. It's obviously not the same, but, just hearing it was like they still sound like they did, 20, 30 years ago. Yeah. They're still super tight.
Yeah, the new singer sounds a lot like Lane Staley.
He's amazing.
Yeah. And that's what, we talked about that previously, I think, and I remember reading something, and the guy's like, well, William Duvall and Lane don't sound that much alike, but when you lay it over with all of Jerry Cantrell's backing vocals, and I mean, he leads a lot of it too, that when you intertwine it all, it has that same feel. Well, 50% of it's still the same. But no, you know what? I have no problem with them doing what they're doing. They're still putting out good music, they're still jamming, and they just were touring with Guns N' Roses again. They just finished up with those guys, I think. So they're still out there doing good stuff. What other shows you guys been to? So you guys are still kind of relatively, new in your journey.
That was my first one. I went to.
What, last night was your first one?
Yeah, one of my
Really?
first rock concert at least.
Yeah.
I've been to what was that? Me and Carson went to in like Nashville. I can't even remember what it was, but it was like a country concert.
Okay.
But,
country's never been my thing. I'm not gonna lie. I know that people absolutely love it, and I can't argue it. I get it. Music's music. You connect with different music different ways. So more power to it. And you know what? That guy or whatever playing country, I can't do it. So you got to respect it.
Right.
So I've never been to a country show, but I think I see one on my future.
Didn't you go with Uncle Paul to that one?
No, we went. No, we saw. We dropped them off.
Oh, okay.
We dropped Uncle Paul off at the it was Paul, Leah.
Yeah, I remember.
We dropped them off at the farm tour. They had was it
Luke Bryan? Yeah.
And he does like regional farm tours. Well, the dude played like 15 minutes down the road in the middle of nowhere. You know?
Yeah.
But no, I've never been to a show. I mean, but I get it. You know. So you've been to a country concert. What about you, Hunter? Too? You ever been to any other shows? Or?
I've been to one other show, but it was a rap show.
Okay, what's
that was for 3 6 Mafia in Memphis.
Okay, that's sweet.
Yeah.
They actually won. I believe they won an Oscar. 3 6 Mafia for. Oh God, I won't think of that. Terrence Howard movie. But anyway, I thought it was 3 6 Mafia that won an Oscar. Actually, we went to Tyler the Creator.
Yeah, I did. It was awesome.
Kennedy went with her friends, Avery went with his friends, and I was one of the drivers, so I just got a ticket and was hanging out. Oh my God, it was awesome. You know, I'm more of the old school hip hop guy.
Right.
You know, obviously, Run DMC, KRS-One, Too Short. Eric, you know what I'm talking about.
Luke Skywalker.
Two Live Crew, NWA, Eric B. and Rakim. They're always one of my favorites. So, now that you got the bug, though, right? So you made the trip to Alabama, or from Alabama. You're going to see Metallica, your favorite band ever, 2 times in 3 days.
Yeah.
Right.
I gotta imagine that's like lighting a fire in you for probably seeing more shows.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna.
Is there any bands out there that like money on the table? I'm going to see them right now.
Tool, probably.
Oh.
Yeah.
I could agree.
You want to tell them what we're going to?
Are you going to the Tool?
No.
Oh,
Well, no, that's right. You're not going to that one. We're going.
Wait, what?
Well, no, we're going.
wait, what?
I got so many tickets going on. Me and Kenny and Avery are going to see. It's the Linda Lindas, Rancid, Smashing Pumpkins, and Green Day. So
Yeah.
we're going to see that at Comerica downtown, right next to Fort Field, where you guys are at. The other one that you're not going to is
Not going.
the one me and my co-host and another one of our friends is was it Pussifer? How do you say it?
Pussifer.
Pussifer, A Perfect Circle, and Primus all in the same show.
Really?
It's Maynard's like 60th
Maynard's of
birthday.
Tool.
Yeah.
Maynard of Tool. So those are his 2 side bands,
Yeah.
and then Primus for his 60th birthday bash. So we just got those tickets. Unfortunately, you're not going to that one. So, what other ones do we got? A couple other shows coming up. Are you guys familiar Portugal the Man at all?
I've never heard of them.
They're more of like a little poppy indie kind of band.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little small venue. We're gonna go there in February. What other? So I want to know more about what you guys want to see. You said Tool.
Yeah, just like.
I gotta imagine you guys are gonna be concert buddies. So
Oh, yeah.
you say you're
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
go together.
Yeah.
But what I want to know is there going to be something you would want to go to that you'd be like, all right, I'll be your wingman, or that you want to go to that you'll be his wingman, even though it may not be your kind of show you want to go to.
We have pretty similar taste in music.
Yeah, like there's a few gaps, but
Mm-hmm.
they're like gaps that we could just be like, well, all right,
Well, you just
we'll
go.
sit through it.
It's
Yeah.
always fun. I mean,
Yeah.
a show's a show.
Yeah.
So besides Tool, who else you guys got on your radar?
There's this band called you were just talking about Deathlock.
No, I'm talking about Death Grips.
Okay, Deathlock. There's another one called Deathlock that I've been wanting to go to.
Okay.
I have to check mine. I have a whole.
So Hunter 1, you play guitar.
Yeah.
Hunter 2, or do you do any? I mean, do you play or you guys?
Not yet. I do want to learn. I just don't know exactly when I'm gonna start.
You got a band going or something, or maybe you've been thinking about it.
I do have one.
Oh, you do?
Going, I guess. We haven't really played in like 3 months.
That's all right. So tell me about it.
We had like 3 people from like 3 of my coworkers.
Okay.
We got a drummer and a lead guitarist, and I'm the rhythm guitarist.
Okay.
And then we had a bass player, but he just kind of like left. I don't know where he's even at.
Yeah. I mean, if you got the
I
other.
don't know. Talk to him anymore. He just left.
Well, hopefully someone knows where he's at.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
But I mean, if you got the drummer and a couple guitars, you can get by without a bass, right? You can.
Yeah.
I mean, Jack White did it.
Yeah. You can get a keyboard like the Doors.
Yeah,
Just do
there
your
you
bass
go.
on that.
Bass on
Yeah.
Ray Manzarek.
Yup. R.I.P.
So what else do you have coming up, Kennedy? Any other concerts? Or other ones you've been to that we maybe haven't touched on?
Well, I think we touched on a lot of them in part 1. But Death Grips was awesome. I saw them twice with my best friend.
So you basically caught 2 legs of the same tour.
I did.
Grand
They
Rapids
they
and
went
Detroit.
to Grand Rapids and then like traveled for like 2 months and then went to Detroit, which is so weird. But that we were in the pit for both times. It was the only mosh pit I've ever been in my life, and it was horrifying. And me and Juno were like holding hands. We're like, we can't let go of each other. We have to stay together. And then I'm
The
like,
key is
literally,
just don't fall over.
seriously,
That's like the
literally,
worst.
not even like half a second into the very first song, I was like 50 feet away from her. Like we were gone. Like there was no saving us. But the first one was horrible. Like it was a great show, but like I got beat up. Like it was not fun. I felt terrible for like 2 days. I couldn't move, but the show was great. The second one was a lot better because I found like a little nook with like all the people that didn't want to do all that.
Right.
And I still like danced and like had fun, but like I wasn't getting hit. And like it was great though. Like he would come out. It's just like the one guy, MC Ride, and then his band behind him. But he comes out, immediately starts playing the set list, plays it the whole way through nonstop, and then just leaves without saying anything. So it's just like a party like the whole time. Well, it was really fun. And then Greta Van Fleet was great, obviously. It's the third time seeing them.
I wanted to see them too.
Yeah, we saw them 3 times now. This one was like amazing. It's like every time they just get better because they
Right.
get more money and like they have like more to set
Oh,
up.
They're pretty new, so.
Yeah.
The stage presence was great.
Oh
The
my god,
stage
it's
lights and
amazing. Every
everything.
single time. Like this the way that they solo each artist is
and
just
it-
amazing.
And it's funny because there's a lot of old people like me that dog them because they are Led Zeppelin cover band. I hear
But
that
they're
a lot.
not, and I
But
don't
then
even
you
want
hear
to
a lot
hear
of
it
younger
anymore.
people like you are like, this band rocks. You know?
Exactly.
And that's what I look at. This band actually rocks. I
Yeah.
don't care if they sound like, Led Zeppelin, they were one of the first ones, but if they weren't, they would just sound like someone else.
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's all, whatever. You can't argue those guys don't have talent and just kick ass.
No.
Exactly.
They've got a ton of talent, and if
Yeah.
you want to hate on them for saying that they sound like something else, like, do you just want that sound to die
Oh,
then?
and-
Because someone has to continue it.
Well, exactly.
Exactly.
And-
So like you can't.
And even Led Zeppelin's like, they like it. Because
Yeah.
they kick ass. But yeah, we saw them at like a little, maybe 2,500 seat theater, like in 2018, and then 22 we saw them like in a field house, maybe 5,000.
Yeah, and I was
people.
right in front of the stage for
Oh,
that
she
one.
was like right up
That
there.
was awesome.
And we actually dragged Emily out to that one. And then we saw them last year at LCA, so where they play hockey and basketball, so like 20,000 people. And every single time it was just killer. And you just saw them getting better and better. And they're actually playing in May again in Grand Rapids, which is only about a couple hours from here, so
Yeah.
wouldn't mind going up there to catch them again. I would highly recommend it.
They're an amazing show, and
So
they
if-
take a lot of time to like showcase each person, and they all have like a solo
yeah.
for a long time.
No, absolutely. And they are. They're great. They're 3 guys, 3 brothers out of Frankenmuth, Michigan. So
Yeah.
an hour and a half from here, middle of nowhere, they're buddy. So if you, with where you're at, like where would you go to see like the big shows? Like you have to drive into Nashville
Either Nashville or Birmingham.
or Birmingham?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So they
there would be
usually-
smaller ones in Huntsville, but it wouldn't be
They probably
big,
hit,
big bands.
a lot of them probably hit Nashville for sure, and probably
Yeah.
a bunch of them probably hit
Yeah.
Birmingham, I would imagine.
Chattanooga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Atlanta's not
Atlanta.
Yeah.
If you really need to make a road trip to see someone
Yeah.
special.
Right.
Who would you drive to Atlanta for? We know who you drive to Michigan for.
I would also want to see Rob Zombie too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be
Yeah.
awesome to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's talk about a talented guy, right? Between
Yeah.
you know,
Movie
he's
directing,
He's doing everything.
right, his
Artist. Like,
his
Yeah.
band,
yeah,
his
he's-
solo work, the directing, and and doing a good job with it.
Yeah.
Like, they actually
Right.
took like Halloween and reimagined it.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was good.
It
Not
was
like
really
some.
He's had a lot of successful movies.
Absolutely. Oh, and those like crazy ones like the.
Like
A Thousand
Thousand-
Corpses.
Thousand
Thousand
Corpses.
Corpses,
Yeah.
and there was one I think before that.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the name of it. I can't remember.
Oh, there's 2 of them like that I thought were like.
Yeah. I watched it, but I have no idea what it's called.
Right.
I've never actually watched them. They kind of. I've never watched them. They seem almost like a Hills Have Eyes type
Yeah,
movies or
it's,
something.
Yeah.
they're crazy. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So, you guys were at Ford Field. What did you think of the stadium?
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It seemed like they had the audio set up for Metallica more than like other bands.
Yeah,
It was
for something
really
like that, you
distorted,
totally
yeah.
have to. But yeah, that's where the Lions play. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
We said season
Right.
Yeah,
tickets
it's pretty
there.
awesome.
Did you see anything else downtown Detroit? What did you think of Detroit in general? Probably the first time there.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
the first time.
First time in Detroit.
We didn't see
Detroit.
much because the roads were also blocked off.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
especially. I mean, it's worse than a football game.
Oh.
Fit even more people.
And trying to drive up there when there's a concert and a
The
football
whole road,
game.
the whole road was blocked with people.
It's horrifying. I drove there for Death Grips the second time, and there was also the Lions were playing, and it was
That's
it was
right.
crazy. I had to call my dad and be like, "Please help me." It was horrifying.
Just put it in the Googler.
It's horrible.
It'll tell you where to go. That's all Dad's gonna do at this point in time.
I know.
No, yeah, and we were talking with Eric. I mean, it's amazing to see the growth in Detroit, and especially in that area around the stadiums,
Yeah.
and getting all those people down there. It's awesome for Detroit. You know, because they're not playing everywhere. You know,
Right.
They're hitting, the major stadiums. They're doing the two shows. I love that they're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The 2-day tour. Yeah.
And another band that's kind of like that, but Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam.
Mhm.
I've also
You know,
wanted to see Pearl
They
Jam.
have
Soundgarden, people.
but they have like 80 songs that they'll play.
Right.
They played like 2 shows in Chicago, and only 2 of them they played in both nights. Or
Right.
whatever. So I love when bands do that.
Yeah.
And you can it's kind of like the Grateful Dead. You follow them around if you want to. But I was supposed to see Pearl Jam September 10th. Me and John, Eric's brother.
Mm.
We got tickets. We actually bought them while we were at Payne's. Heather and Eric were there. Remember? We bought tickets to Pearl Jam while I'm sitting there waiting for my sandwich. And it's in Noblesville, Indiana. It was either there or Chicago. They're both the same drive from here. And I'm like, I'd rather deal with Indiana than Chicago.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
traffic and everything. And it's a really cool outdoor venue and everything.
Mhm.
And that was the only outdoor venue that Pearl Jam was playing in this whole tour. It is a small one. So me and John are in the car, driving down. We're about 40 minutes in. All of a sudden I look, I got an alert. The concert was postponed.
Oh,
Oh.
So Matt Cameron, the drummer, who was Soundgarden's drummer, which, I mean, can that guy just, everything he touches just turns to, hey, I'm in Soundgarden, now I'm in Pearl Jam, whatever. But anyway, I guess he had COVID, so they postponed it, and we have no idea when it's supposed to happen. Word on the street is they have a new album coming out that they're going to support with a tour, so we're hoping maybe it's at the front end of that or something will come with that. And somewhere out of the blue, out of all of that, because where I ordered the tickets from, I'm waiting for them to show up, and they're like, oh, they'll be there, the day before the concert. They'll be there the day of the concert. These tickets never showed up, and John's like here, ready to go to Indiana. So I'm like, hurried up and looked, and I bought 2 more online that I ended up finding for way cheaper than the 2 damn tickets I bought in the first place. So now I got 4 tickets to this goddamn thing, and I don't even know what's going to happen, so we'll see. But I haven't seen them in like 20 years. The first time I saw them was in Lollapalooza, which seeing them is kind of, I'm using that loosely.
You didn't see nothing at
I was
all.
totally passed on the hill. I didn't see shit. I was 17. I was younger than you guys, And it was Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Ice Cube, Ministry. You guys listen to Ministry at all?
Yeah.
I do.
And then Red Hot Chili Peppers were the
That's a
headline.
good set
That was a
list.
great lineup, but I can actually say I only saw Ice Cube, Ministry, and Red Hot Chili
Okay,
Peppers.
so
So I
half-
basically missed Pearl Jam. I remember hearing Soundgarden,
Yeah.
coming out of it a little bit, but not my brightest. When I was 17.
Yeah. Covered
So-
in corn on the hill.
Well, I went with my brother and 2 of his friends, and then they're like, "We're gonna get a watermelon, and you just put a hole in it, and you dump the whole 5th of vodka in it."
Yeah.
So we do that, and we're eating it, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is awful." I'm like, "Oh, this is great." But I'm 17, I have no idea that it's like the same thing as just drinking the whole bottle.
Yeah.
So I end up passed out on this hill, And I did not throw up, I don't believe. I was just like out of it. And at some point in time, it was like this group of guys like a little behind us that started, for whatever reason, had actual kernels of corn. And they were throwing kernels of corn at me. And my brother's sitting there watching them. And he's like, as long as it was corn, I was okay. But if they took it up a notch, I was going to have to step in, which I understand. Like, it's my fault, right? You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I woke up. I'll never forget. Like, Soundgarden's just finishing up. I'm covered in effing corn. I look at Paul. I'm like, why is there corn on me? He's like, those guys are throwing. It's cool. Don't worry. And I went straight down to where everyone was at for Ice Cube, and then from there it was on. Because I mean, like I said, it was leading into my senior year of high school, so I was barely younger than
Speaking
you guys.
of corn, I would like to see corn also.
Oh, so you should talk to John, Eric's brother. He went to Woodstock '99.
Really?
Oh yeah.
And so the first night was where everyone was just having a great time.
That's when they played Blind Live.
And Bush played right before Korn, and then Korn played, and the place just erupted. But then the whole scenario just went to crap, you know, where
everything got lit on fire and everything.
But John was there for that Korn show at Woodstock, which was like, when you look back, and did you watch that documentary?
I've seen also YouTube videos also. The crowd was.
I love that documentary on Netflix. That's so sweet going back. Yeah, John lived that, so you should talk to him.
He wasn't there for that day though. He did leave the day before because he knew it was tensions
Well,
were
he
rising.
left. I want to say he left. I thought it was the morning of.
Maybe,
when
but he didn't
fires
see the
happened that
carnage.
night. No, he didn't see the carnage, but he saw Korn, and then he was there the next night for Limp Bizkit. That's when things just went to hell.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they tried to get him to, hey, Fred, can you keep it, low key because the sucks out there? He's like, no, we're going to break shit.
And then we're also going to give everybody lit candles.
Well, that was at the very end. That was
crazy.
Insane.
After everyone's already breaking and destroying the tower, it's like, okay, well, let's pass out the candles now. And everything just gets lit on fire. Like, that was the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life.
They kept touting the big surprise at the end, and it was the Jimi Hendrix.
It was a video of Jimi Hendrix playing fire. And everybody lit everything on fire.
No one can figure out why this happens.
Literally. Like, they don't know what could have possibly happened. Like, Fred Durst...
And that was before technology. Like, so, like, when me and Eric were talking, when we used to go to shows, like, we would camp out for tickets.
Right.
We'd do all this shit. And there was no social media, so, like, everyone just figured Woodstock's going great. And, you saw those people in, like, the documentary, like, so we have a couple of problems. They're like, no, there's, like, carnage out there. We have just a few minor problems. So, all right. I'm just really glad you guys came on. I'm glad you guys are here. You guys all came for the road trip to Metallica. I appreciate being on the show. Yeah. It's been a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And, from here, let's go have some fun upstairs. And then I will say rock on tomorrow at Metallica. And hopefully you guys see another great set.
I'll also take the money in a check.
Oh, no. Something happened there.
Can I tell my Beatles story?
Yes, go.
Alright, so...
Okay, yeah, tell your Beatles story. And go!
So, I would like to let everybody be aware that the Beatles have released their last song ever. It is one of John Lennon's original songs that he recorded in, 1979, I think, but he never finished it. So, his company gave the rights to Paul, Ringo, and George. They tried to finish it, never did, except George did record guitar for it. And then this year, Paul and Ringo did the vocals. And now we have the last ever Beatles song called Now and Then. Go listen to it because it's fire. And this is history, and we are witnessing the last Beatles song to ever be released.
It is history.
That's all I gotta say.
You know what else is history? Lord, Alice in Chains. So, like I said, super happy you guys are here. Maybe one day we'll catch a show together.
Yep. Thanks for having us.
We should go to Nashville.
All right.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Fire.